Talking Aztec Sports with Jim Sterk. He's the athletic director at San Diego State. Jim, welcome back to San Diego Sports Leader XX 1090. Palais gave me a quote in the break, and I want you to play this game with me, Jim. I want you to imagine that Dave Palais is your head football coach, and you're watching a press conference, and Dave Palais says the following line to the media. Give me this line again, Palais.
We need to build a university that our football program can be proud of.
Oh.
I believe that was Donald Royal, I believe, said that line.
There's, I'm not going there.
I couldn't believe that. Palais just told me that in the break. I called shenanigans on him, but if you say it actually happened, Jim, good enough for me. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, great. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Nice to have you back on. What are you excited about for this football team this year?
Well, today the seniors are heading out with Rocky and the Navy SEALs. I don't know if they'll feel if the Navy SEALs are tougher on them than Rocky has been, but I know I'm excited to see all the new weapons that we have, and there's a lot of players that are going to make a name for themselves this year, and I think Rocky, he kind of downplays things, and I go, Rocky, people want to hear about all the positives, and we're going to be okay. But if you read between the lines and you've read his quotes, they're competing for a championship, and over the last 2 years, our football and men's basketball teams combined have the best record in the country, and so they're taking that very serious, and they're going to compete for a championship this year, and it'll be fun to see who steps forward and makes significant contributions.
Jim, I'm very excited about this Aztec football team. I know the basketball program gets a ton of publicity, but very excited when you look at the schedule and look at the players that you guys are bringing in. I got a quick story for you. My oldest son is friends with some of the linemen on your Aztec football team, and they've been coming over to the house this summer for lunch or dinner.
Good luck eating, huh?
Yeah.
Your food bill is
it's ridiculous.
A little bit bigger.
My wife's worried about it. She's also worried about the furniture breaking. But at the same time, one of the guys that comes in the house is an NFL player, plays for the Browns, and she says, "Is this another Aztec player that Josh is bringing home?" I said, "No, that guy plays for the Browns." She goes, "I can't tell the difference between the NFL players and these Aztec players," and that's a pretty good sign to know that you're bringing in some pretty fast, pretty good athletes and guys that obviously have the ability to play college football for San Diego State.
Yeah, obviously we lost a lot of players, but we have 5 players on the national preseason watch list in their respective positions, and I think there were 10 players that were on the Mountain West Conference, preseason list. So I think we've got a lot of great players. I think it's how fast some of those younger players develop, and but one, the key one everyone's worried about is quarterback, and I think we have 2 players there that are competing to fill Ryan Lindley's spot, and they're both very, very talented.
Jim Sterk's the athletic director at San Diego State. He joins us on XX 1090. Jim, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the Padres have a little bit of a TV issue going on. I don't know if you've heard over the last couple of months, but with the Mountain going away, as we saw, of course, that becomes an issue for any sport. Hey, can I see the games on TV? And as I look at your schedule right now, which you can find at goaztecs.com, we see that the Washington game will be available through the Pac-12 networks. The Army game will be available, as will Hawaii, Nevada, Boise State, Air Force, but there's a lot of TBDs. Are you confident that all these games will end up on TV?
They all are, and the question is where and how they're doing it, and what we're hearing is that Time Warner has selected those or made a deal with the Mountain West Conference, and we're not sure what distribution venue they're going to be on. I know Time Warner's putting on a regional sports network, or they're creating that in October, but how that will be distributed is a good question. And we're kind of in a unique situation. We're in our last year of the Mountain West Conference, and I think the conference used San Diego State and Boise State to try to leverage some TV deals that may or may not be good for us. We'll see how it all ends up. We're excited about moving to the future where we do control our destiny, and the Big West is negotiating their primary and secondary rights, and Fox and Time Warner are in the middle of that, and then the Big East goes to the marketplace in September for the following year. So there's ESPN, Fox, NBC are all a part of that as well. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and unfortunately, the Padres have been in a situation we've been in where part of the county isn't carried, and that's a tough thing.
Jim, I'm sure, talking to Jim Sterk, we're Dave and Jeff at San Diego Sports Leader XX 1090. Jim, I'm sure it's a question that your coaches have posed to you, but as you guys get ready to make those changes to the Big West for basketball, Big East for football, how's it going to help in recruiting?
Well, I think it really, there was an article today in the UT about how Rocky feels, and I think, part of the Big East, there's I think 29 million households that are a part of the Big East Conference, as opposed to maybe 6 or so in the Mountain West Conference. So I think that's going to be a big change as far as who's viewing, who's interested, and then the Big West, we have Hawaii and California schools, and possibly Boise coming in, and so I think that'll be a good footprint as well. And if you look at our sports, we recruit, our alumni and our recruits are mostly coming from California, and so we'll be able to really saturate that market and hopefully dominate that marketplace.
Jim, you guys came out with the brand new uniforms just the other day. Nike and you guys have brand new Aztec uniforms. Do you guys have input on how that works, or is that one of those where, hey, you give all the permission to Nike and say make it look good?
No, we have an agreement with Nike, and so our coaches and the coaches get a little input from the players, and we're having this may be. We're having new uniforms this year, a change, and they may change in the future. Probably not as much as Oregon does. They change it in the quarters, I think, between quarters. But there'll be more positive things coming forward, and I think some neat stuff that the kids get excited about.
Jim, before you go, Dave and I it's funny you mentioned the uniforms because we had Coach Long on yesterday. And I said, there are certain things that Coach Long has no interest in. And I would bet you $2 or a breakfast burrito that when the conversation comes up about color schemes for uniforms, Coach Rocky Long has zero interest in being in that meeting. Am I right?
Yeah. Zero might be over-exaggerated, but he does have a little. But you're right. Coach Sipe is our color coordinator and more of a design background than Coach Long, that's for sure.
I am a huge fan of those guys, man. It is old school throwback football. It's going to be a fun year. Gets going Saturday, September 1st at Washington. And as Coach Long mentioned yesterday, Army's coming in here on September the 8th. We're a military town. They run the triple option. Coach Long is going to have that 3-3-5 defense. That is going to be a fun game to watch. Tough game to keep stats on. Fun game to watch, though, in the stands. All the tickets available at goaztecs.com, or you can always call for season tickets, 619-283-7378. Jim, always enjoy the visit. Thanks for the time. We'll do it again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we start with Army and end with Air Force.
Oh, going to be great.
And so each game we're going to honor the military at each game, so it'll be fun.
Great year of Aztec football upon us. Basketball right around the corner. Thanks again, Jim.
Thanks, guys.